happens every once in a while. Wrap your dick.
No cap. That's what these kids say. No cap.
Yeah, no cap.
Caps happen.
They're talking about Captain America, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep,
no
that's
more
what
cap.
it is.
They're talking about their new future.
Virgin nerd, you dumb piece of shit.
Yeah, not everything's comic book related, okay, Dillon?
Yeah. Can't believe you made a documentary about you being a virgin, you fucking loser.
And then you blew it by becoming not a virgin. Well, way to go. Your character is just dropped already.
Yeah, just really ruined it for everyone. Why couldn't you just stick to the script? Hello, and welcome to Pop Culture Party People, a podcast where we put the cult in pop culture.
Pop culture.
I am Dillon, and I am a little bit low energy today, and that's fine.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change. I was like, what is this introduction? Hi, I'm Warren Chow. I will be providing the energy that Dillon has surprisingly lost. I'm
it's
surprised.
Not surprising. I think we've talked a little bit about, so
Please inform them.
Yeah, I recently booked a job doing COVID safety on a feature film. That's really cool.
Very cool.
But it also entails that I wake up like 2 hours before everybody gets to set, so I can like be the first person on one of the first people on set.
And what's the call time?
What?
What's the call time? How early did they be there?
The earliest I've ever had to wake up was we had a location that was 2 hours away, and my call time was 6 a.m.
Oy.
So I basically woke up at 3 to make sure that I got there on time, and then my truck got stuck in a ditch. So,
wow,
that's how I wanted to start the movie. That's how I wanted to start it.
You had the first day of a YA novel, man. Just like, how much worse can it get for the new kid in town?
Well, you know what? I didn't fall in love with a vampire or discover I had new powers that would eventually help save the world. It was more of a situation where I just looked like an ass on my first day of work.
That's the worst YA novel I've ever heard.
What would it be called, though? Let's make it something interesting.
It would be Dune Crashers.
Yeah, Vista.
Vista. Oh, you know what? I'd watch that. I'd watch Vista.
Yeah.
It'd be like this. It'd be like a spin-off of Adventureland. One of those kids go off to work in production, and their first day in Vista was this.
I mean, I did have because I was there so fucking early and I was in the middle of the desert, it was kind of scary. And I thought this would make an interesting film. Like a guy goes out into the desert for whatever reason, work, something or
books
other.
A random gig or whatever.
Yeah. And then it's just him in the desert fighting off maybe something supernatural or whatnot. But I mean, it's a cool locale because it is creepy.
Yeah.
It's creepy to be in wilderness by yourself.
Yeah, it's very vulnerable. It's like nothing but you versus nature. There's this great reality show called Alone, where essentially it's a bunch of contestants. They each have their own camera equipment, and they need to all survive in this very remote, desolate situation for as long as possible without knowing however long other people are surviving. And if they suddenly need to leave, they radio out. So you just see them battling the elements, battling their own psychosis by being alone for so long for the prize of $500,000.
Do they have to do it naked?
They can choose to, but honestly, it's no rules. Like whatever they have to do to survive, they can do it.
Wasn't there a show? Isn't it like called like Naked and Afraid, where they just
there's
like dump fucking naked ass people in the wilderness? They're like, good fucking luck, you fucking idiot. I hope you survive.
Some production meeting was like, I watched Survivor once, and what I saw was people getting naked and surviving the wilderness. Let's just make a whole show around that.
Around that. Alone sounds interesting, but yeah, no, Naked and Afraid. I always remember seeing ads for that, and I was just like, what? Who would go on this?
Yeah, it's a very narrow road. That is like
yeah. Well, not only that, but the thing that sucks even more is you've got at least a small camera crew there that is fully clothed and just watching you suffer. Just.
Yeah. Boom guy, I love that.
Yeah,
the camera guy who's got like dual parkas on, very comfortable. Look over, back on.
Doing okay? I don't know if you know this, but it's 15 below right now.
There's a production assistant just eating a power bar.
Yeah. Look scareder. Look scareder for the camera. Be naked and afraid. Just like the
more
title
naked,
says.
More... We want it all off. We know we're going to blur it, but we want that all gone.
Yeah. Why would you want to go into wilderness with clothes on, idiot?
I remember I watched one survival show where this guy was like really happy to go with insert big name survivalist. And his first day, he stepped on something through his boot, and which caused an infection, and they had to airlift him out. So it's like him being like, "Oh, I know how to do this. I've been studying all my life for this." Step into the wilderness. Oh, I gotta go.
That sounds like me arriving to work.
First day at a new job. Can't wait.
Yeah, ditch. Dude, have you ever wanted to go on any of those survival type shows? I don't know about you, but I'm a person who likes comfort and safety. I'm a big fan of convenience. Not really into the idea of braving the wilderness.
Yeah, I may look like I'm a wilderness type guy with a bandana on and a full beard and grizzled energy, if you will. But I'm a big ninny. I hate anything slimy on my hands. I hate worms. I hate getting my feet dirty. I hate like wet socks. So I like going camping and seeing like the vistas. Now that word's stuck in my head. But yeah, I get grossed out so quick. I'm just like, ew, I don't want to touch anything.
My whole thing with camping was always the idea, it was like, but we already beat that stage of our life. We got houses. What you doing, bro?
Right.
It's we could just get an RV. You gotta return to nature. You need to go back to nature. And I'm like, you know what? I'm fine seeing nature from like my car. I'm driving to it.
Yeah.
For a little bit, but I don't need to stay overnight. I don't understand. What are you missing?
Right. There's a great YouTube video with all these beautiful scenes that you can watch and don't need to see firsthand. They're really great great quality.
Absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong. Once again, I'm happy to be in nature for like a limited amount of time. Sure. Like, I don't need the idea of like, I'm going to test my mettle and fight nature. One,
I'm good.
Nature's going to win. Nature doesn't care about you. And at any chance, it will try and murder you. So,
good on you for surviving. But you didn't win. You just got away narrowly.
The idea that who's winning in this situation? Is it you as you get, like you said, an infection and lose 30 pounds and slowly start to
Mother Nature into a chokehold, and you're like, you're mine now. I got you. You'll never be let go again. I really control you.
And then it just puts the Stone Cold Steve I don't know. Wrestling. But yeah,
or it's like van life, you know, like it looks beautiful. I want to try it out. I want to go on the road more than anything else. I want to be traveling around, doing shows and seeing the world. But day to day, if I don't have an activity to do or like a gig to go to, I think I'm going to get really bored really quickly. I think I'm going to be the worst travel companion because I'm going to be like, oh, I want to watch TV. I want to play video games. I need something to get my brain snapping. I need to go for a run. I need to go snowboarding. I need to go do literally anything. And just being inside of a closed van, I'm just going to be miserable.
So, for those listeners who don't know, I actually kind of did van life for close to a year with one of my closest friends, Alex Bostick. We did a documentary series where we kind of traveled the country and interviewed people who had quit jobs they hated to do jobs that they loved. And that entitled us living in a van for a good portion of it when we had a home base in Denver. But when we had to travel around, we kind of kitted out a van so that we could sleep in it, so we could save money on hotel rooms because we were making the documentary for next to nothing.
Right.
And I can personally say
yes,
that the appeal of it is cool, right? Like the idea that you're living in your house and you can drive across the country, like that is, it's kind of beauuful and nostalgic.
You can live the Jack Kerouac lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. But then there are things where you're like, man, I would love to shit on a toilet that's mine.
I'll just take a nice long hot shower.
Yeah, it would be really nice to take a shower right now. You know what? I would love some fucking microwave popcorn. We don't have one of those in the goddamn van, do we?
I love a little privacy from this person who's sleeping on top of me right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I felt bad for Bostick because apparently I'm a pretty bad snorer. I didn't know that because once again, don't know what I do when I sleep.
Yeah, you don't? You are really selfish. You know that. A true friend would know what they're doing while they're sleeping at all times.
Absolutely. So this thing, it's like, I do applaud anybody who pulls it off, but like, yeah, this like over romanticization of like the idea that you're just going to give it all up and get into this multi-$1,000 vehicle and make your way across country is like, you know what?
It's suddenly going to be the ending of Grease. You're suddenly going to jettison into the sky and fly among the clouds and be truly happy.
Yeah. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, the happiest I would ever be is if I could just have enough money to know that I never had to worry about it again and could just keep making shit like this. I would be fine with that.
I think my dream is to travel the world and eat great food and get paid to do it. That's definitely one of my all-time goals.
I mean, I would love the Anthony Bourdain life for a little while, but I don't know, dude. I've lived in 5 different places in 5 years. Traveling gets tiresome after a little bit.
But what if like you're going to you're right. But at the same time, you should experience full time.
Like the world is such an amazing place that it is worth exploring.
But you need a home base. Like at the end of the day, you need a place to call your home.
Absolutely.
Your home. And I don't want it to be a van because that's not a home. That's a van.
Yeah, it's a van. It might have some of the things that are in your home, but it's not really a home.
Right. I'll have a van in my home. I mean, that's luxurious as fuck. But I don't want my home in a van.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely
Wait, plug your website so people can watch those episodes.
Oh, the show is called You Do You. I don't think the website's even up anymore. Like me and Bostic, like we loved doing it. We need to get it back. We would like to do it again, but I think like the money ran out for the website, and it was kind of. It's still on YouTube though. If you look up You Do You, the first episode is called Drew and the Farm, nice. And it was cool. Like I said, it was an amazing experience for me as a person, and I would definitely consider doing that again. But like, every year I get older, I just want some comfort, man.
Yeah. It's like where I sit the longest amount of time, I want to be the most comfortable. You know, like I want to get a Japanese toilet. You know, like I want. Like, as I get older, I'm like, man, that sounds so wonderful. Why am I ever waiting this long?
I can say from personal experience, they are wonderful. They are truly amazing.
You have one? Are you on one right now?
No, dude.
Every chair in your house.
When I lived in Japan, this is a funny story.
Oh, right.
My host family, one of the very first things they said to me after introducing me to the family was, "We got a new toilet for you."
Hi, Dillon, like, we have toilet for you. That's amazing.
And I was like, that's a weird way to greet someone.
It's a little bit insulting, but they got you a nice toilet though.
Yeah. And the weird thing though is like, did you really get it for me or did you get it for you?
Right.
This was just a good excuse. We have a giant living in our house.
Or did they like hear rumors of Americans just blowing up toilets? They're like,
that's probably what it was. They were probably like, we need to fucking upgrade the line.
Yeah. It's like the reverse Godzilla shot. Instead of like you going like this with like fire breath coming out of your mouth, it's the other end.
It's just shit fucking spewing out of your ass like fucking just a laser beam of it.
Sir, we need your biggest, best toilet. We have American coming.
Oh, God. I've got more Japan stories. We'll talk about them as the podcast goes on. But you know what? We should start talking about all of the amazing shit that we watched over the course of this week.
Yeah, this was a fantastic week of... Let me find the words. Because this week was busy for me. Between work and I moved in with Karen, my girlfriend. This is our new place. We moved in on Saturday.
It looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you so much. I've been fishing for that. Thank you for finally saying that.
I mean, I wanted to do it on the podcast so it could be real.
Authentique. Well, I really blew that.
I just love their relationship. It's so authentic, but not really. It seems so contrived.
So fitting in the film recommendations amongst this busy week has been a bit of a challenge, but it was really nice to relax to it. It was a really nice week. It was
I
really
have to
nice.
agree. It was very weird going back to work in general because I've been unemployed since the quarantine happened, but not only just to go back to work, but to like go back to work fucking hard. I think I did 56 hours this week. It was
Holy shit!
yeah.
What's the turnaround? When are you going to sleep and when are you going back to work? How quick is that?
Most days, I mean, the ideal shoot for them is a 12-hour day.
Sure.
So they usually
Always.
want people to show up at 8 and leave at 8 p.m.
Yeah,
right?
fat chance.
But for me, because I have to be there 2 hours early, my call time, depending on the day, it's always 2 hours ahead of everyone. So if it's a 8 a.m. call time, I'm a 6 a.m. call time.
8
And
rapids,
9
10
times
for
out of
you.
10, most call times are 8 to 7 a.m. So I'm waking up at, 5 to 4
Yep,
pretty much
yep.
every day. And then, we wrap. But sometimes, like last night, we had to do, like we didn't get everything that we needed the day before. So we needed to extend it.
Yeah.
So last night, I went to bed at 1:15. The shoot ended at 1:15 and I got home at 2:30.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So,
Movie magic.
well, hey, thank you for your hard work. Without you, there might be another zombie apocalypse happening on set. So you're a true hero.
Potentially. Hey, look, at the end of the day, I am glad to be back to work. It's like I said, 2020 has been a rough year for a bunch of different reasons.
Yep.
And, having work again even if it's tiring, it feels good at the very least to be doing something again and not just sitting on the couch.
At least you're in the field you want to be into, and you're around peers who are doing it too. All right.
Absolutely.
Let's get to this. What I would like to talk about. I would like to start with Casper, if you don't mind.
I mean, Warren, I love you taking charge. Don't stop.
I think we need to start with, is this good? Is it good though?
But is it good, Warren?
And this is your is it good? So I kind of want you to kind of like talk about why this movie means a lot to you, what it meant to you growing up. Just give me everything you want about Casper. So this week we're doing Is It Good? Casper, the 1995 live action Casper. Dillon.
I recommended this one because once again it's Halloween. This movie takes place at Halloween, so I'm trying to keep it in that. Yeah, trying to keep it in that spooky season mindset for these episodes. And the funny thing is, this movie wasn't that big of a deal to me when I was a kid. I did, we watched it a couple times and I enjoyed it. Casper, funnily enough, was a comic book character. Archie Comics, along with Richie Rich and Archie. Of course, people know Casper and stuff like that. But I have to say, much like Hocus Pocus last week, I'm so glad I revisited this film as an adult.
Yeah.
There is so much fantastic shit in this film for adults, just like there was in Hocus Pocus. It's that same sort of thing of like, but is it good? We're usually revisiting childhood films that we remember or like.
Right.
And the idea that you can make a kids film that not only appeals to children but appeals to adults is, of course, that's the ideal, right? That's what you want to hit. You want to hit that nice sweet spot where a kid will get all of these smaller jokes, but adults are going to get all of these bigger in jokes that they wouldn't pick up on. And I think this film does a beautiful job of it. Obviously, it's produced by Spielberg, so it's Amblin Entertainment. So he had his hands in this. It's not directed by him. But I loved rewatching this film. I think it has, much like Hocus Pocus, all the performances are fantastic. I love the fact that the CGI, which I think is one of the very first, if not the first, full CG character.
Sounds right.
For a film.
And
it has so much
full CG
like
characters.
Yeah, it's got 4 CG characters with the ghosts. Well, actually 5, because spoilers, if you haven't seen Casper,
To reveal Casper spoilers? I don't know. Man. We can't recover from this. We'll really be canceled.
5 digital. No, 6 because the dad too.
Well, there goes our careers. All right, it's been a pleasure. All right, please continue.
Sorry, but yeah, dude. At the end of the day, the scene where they're trying to get the ghosts out, and it's got the Ghostbusters and the guy from SNL and all of those things. And then, of course, when him in the mirror with like the crypt, like all of those little things that I completely forgot about as a kid, watching them as an adult, and especially as somebody who loves pop culture, I was like, yeah, damn, this movie fucking hit it. And Christina Ricci, a phenomenal performance. Like, Christina Ricci's always been a great actress. I loved her as Wednesday Addams. I've loved her in stuff that she's done since. But she knocks it out of the fucking park, and I love Bill Pullman in this as well.
Yeah, Christina Ricci almost had to play against her own type, right? Because I'm sure the two Addams Family movies really blew up her career and really kind of put her as Wednesday Addams and everything. So in this, like, she could have, they probably wanted her to do that, but she had to play against that and play this very sincere, not gothically cryptic person, but just a girl who's caught up in this really terrible affairs where her father is chasing after their dead mother. Like, it's just a sad life to be in where she has no control of it. Their income is based upon him chasing ghosts down when really he's only doing it to talk to his dead wife one more time. I mean, that's just so fucking tragic. Like, so like that fact that a children's movie can pull that off and have the pathos of that and create this Borscht Belt 3-part comedy trio of the ghost uncles, I'll call them. I don't really know. I forget the relation to Casper.
Yeah, but I think they are uncles, or they adopted him when he became a ghost. But they're fucking great.
They're hilarious. Like it all balances really well. Like, as much as I want more of them, they only work because they're going against Bill Pullman, because they're pulling at his strings and slowly seeing him unravel to only eventually have him become one of the ghosts and be his pal and really see his descent away from his own sanity. And their jokes are great. I really enjoyed this film. Yeah.
The script is really tight in this movie. It's, once again, I remember liking this movie as a kid, but I am shocked at how much I enjoyed it as an adult. Like,
yeah. Well, as a kid, I distinctly didn't like this movie. I was like, I didn't care about Casper at all. I was into Power Rangers and TMNT, so I wanted violence and I wanted combat, and you're not getting that from this movie at all. And I didn't really care about Christina Ricci's character. And then the scene in the kitchen where they destroy all those delicious Hostess snack cakes, it infuriated me as a kid because I'm a junk food king.
I want those Hostess snack cakes.
Yeah. Wait, why don't give them to them? They can't even eat them. This is a waste. But watching it now, it's like everything we've talked about in our previous Is It Good segments. It had jokes that worked for the adults, as you're saying, and it still worked for the kids. And the CG, it holds up because it's not trying to be photorealistic. It's like allowing them to be cartoon characters in real world. It's like, I wish more contemporary big studios learned from this lesson. They're like, you don't need to create me as a ghost. You can just do a cartoon version of a ghost and people will believe it and have fun with it. They don't need...
Yeah, because you don't know what a ghost looks like. It doesn't need to look realistic.
Well,
but yeah, no, I'm so glad you enjoyed it. So did I. It was definitely, like you said, this week has been really long and I've been having some... just, trying to find the time to enjoy myself when I'm not, like, on set or sleeping, and taking the time to, like, revisit this movie and Monster Squad and the Dragon Ball Z thing. Like, all of it was great. But I particularly enjoyed this one.
It was like a warm blanket of nostalgia this week, of more, like, contemporary nostalgic things. With a nice twist on everything. Because Monster Squad, I didn't grow up on. I only watched it recently due to your recommendation that you got to watch Vampires Vs The Bronx. And when you told me that we were watching that, you told me to watch Monster Squad beforehand because of its importance to Vampires Vs The Bronx.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad you did that, because it, no question, is certainly passing the baton to this movie.
Absolutely. So, but we should say, is Casper good? Absolutely.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah,
if you want to go back and kind of have a little holiday fun with the holidays, but also watch just a great film that has a ton of phenomenal jokes, Casper is definitely good. Well worth a rewatch. It ages well.
You can show it to any age, and Casper's good.
Casper's great. And then to your point, yes, Monster Squad, I remember seeing that movie when I was very young, but I never revisited it. I just remembered it was good in my youth. But once again, just like Casper, I didn't realize how fucking phenomenal this film is. Like, Shane Black,
Love Shane Black.
Yeah, who has done Nice Guys and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Phenomenal fucking writer.
Iron Man 3, arguably the best Iron Man.
I don't want to... Let's not speak.
I mean, taking Tony Stark out of his suit is such a brave and fun choice. Show me the true hero. Don't show me more suits.
But they do show you more suits. Like, literally all the suits.
Yeah, but before then, though. He earns those suits.
Let's not talk about Iron Man 3. Never mind. But the special effects makeup in Monster Squad is so phenomenal. Like, Stan Winston fucking crushed it in that film. Is it as tight of a script as maybe some of the other ones we watched? No, it's definitely got things where it kind of plays out, but it also has like those fucking classic lines like Wolfman's got nards and all that shit. Not only that, they say fucking, it's been a long time, but they actively say the word faggot in the movie.
Hard F. F. Oof.
I was like, I felt like I was transported back in time. I was like, I haven't heard that word in a long time.
That was a punch in the ear. I was like, what the fuck? The fucking hate crime did I just hear? God damn.
And it's just rolling off these 12-year-olds' tongue like it's nothing.
Yeah. I'm glad we've changed so much. Gee, that hurt.
But how did you like it? This is your first time ever seeing it, correct?
Yeah, first time seeing it, and I enjoyed it. I think the issue is that so many things I've learned from this. There is no Stranger Things without Monster Squad. You know, like it has the same feel of the band of kids coming together to fight against this force that's way beyond them. Some monster, of course. I love when the cool kid in the leather jacket just rolls up, and I love that cliche greaser cool kid. I eat that up. I love that, and every time there's a werewolf, there has to be a transformation on screen to really show off special effects. Like the more heightened you can make the werewolf explode out of someone or have the fur grow in, it's like it always showcases. Like that's their big time to show off. It seems like as special effects people. So I really enjoyed that. But the movie is just like it's like Goonies meets. You're just taking all the '80s movies, and kind of smashing together and making the best of.
Well, funny thing...
Yeah.
Oh, no. Please, go on.
I guess what bothers me is Dracula didn't work for me. I was like, I'm not afraid of this guy, and he just seems like a classically trained actor trying too hard in Dracula costume. It's like he just didn't get what was happening.
I kind of agree with that. I feel like Dragon Ball. I feel like Dracula is a little stilted. But the rest of the cast makes it up for me. It's sad that Dracula's the main, he's like the main bad guy in the film. But like, I love the fact that like I love the old man and I love his backstory being like a Holocaust survivor. Like, I love the fact that like the kid's relationship with his father is really strained and the marriage is on the rocks and they're trying to figure it out, but it's not like shoved in your face. It's just kind of one of those things.
He's just trying to be a good cop, but he's not there for his family. It's like, you can feel the pain on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, it's just all about that makeup for me. Like the fish man and the mummy look so fucking good. I was just always taken aback by how good this film looked. And it's also cool to see Shane Black at the beginning of his like writing career, because this is one of the first things he ever wrote, and it's like you can see that he's going to become somebody amazing. He's not necessarily there yet, but he's got kind of like the seeds of it, and that's always fucking cool to see.
Because he's very good at leading up to a big payoff. He's really good at creating the world right in front of you, creating the character development right in front of you without hitting over the head, while all reaching this really climactic thing. And saying that out loud, it's like, well, every movie does that, right? Or every story does that. But Shane Black does it in this very, like, nurturing way. He, like, fills it full of banter in a very Sorkin way. So you're busy kind of just hearing them bond while you're going to finally get to, in Monster Squad, a clash over a crystal with every monster of the week attacking at the same time.
Yeah.
While a son and father are going to bond before one might die.
Well, much like Hocus Pocus, I was doing a little research on this. So this film came out in the middle of the summer. and it
Wow.
bombed
They just
horribly.
didn't get it. They just don't get it.
Yeah. Once again, if you are a movie executive, please just look here for a second. Just look in my eyes.
Yeah, look right at him. Look at Dillon.
Stop doing that. You need to release these movies around Halloween. You know, the time where this movie is taking place, that's when you want to release it. That's just a little piece of advice.
And you know what? They still didn't learn even more recently. What with the Mummy remake, or with when they try to make the Dark Universe happen again, and they shit the bed because they made a summer release movie starring Tom Cruise doing the Mummy. I didn't watch it.
Horrendous.
But I'm just mad because it could have worked. It's like such a brilliant idea. It's like, yes, make these classic horror movies into a pantheon thing. Make it the Dark Avengers.
I completely agree with you. The idea
Yes.
of Universal restarting their monster line is brilliant, right? Like
It's a no-brainer.
Not only is that a franchise that would work,
Yeah.
because it's already tried and true. Everybody loves those monsters.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that you could actively build upon that and bring in even more mythology is amazing. But
Yeah.
of course, they had to shit the bed
Right.
and make arguably one of the worst films of that year.
Right.
Because I heard it was one of the worst films of 20, I believe it was 16 or 17 whenever it came out.
What are your thoughts on Van Helsing, the Hugh Jackman movie? Because it's Monster of the Week. You get to see some awesome action movies.
So I would say Van Helsing is maybe a guilty pleasure. It's definitely dumb and fun.
Yeah.
It's got some great
Yeah,
VFX though. I think I love their rendition of werewolves that kind of like hulked out. Like I like my werewolves.
All arms, no legs.
I like them, buffed up. I like my werewolves buff.
You like those bro werewolves.
Yeah, those bro
What's
wolves.
leg day?
Yeah.
Bro wolves. Yeah, they halt the moon because they're out of their six pack.
Yeah.
No more IPA. Oh.
Well, not anymore. It's like they're out of energy drink. They're out of protein milk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my muscle milk?
I'm out of cashew milk.
But yeah, so I think I'm glad that you watched Monster Squad and then transition into Vampires versus the Bronx, because yes, it is a huge spiritual successor to that film in a big bad way.
Big time. Are we shifting into Vampires versus the Bronx? Because I need to call an audible. So here's the thing.
Quick question. I don't know what sports are. What's an audible? Besides the book program where you listen to audiobooks?
Okay, well that applies. All right, so think about if you're listening to a book and suddenly on Audible you don't want to and you have to switch quickly. You're gonna call an audible on that. Or like maybe you listen to the book that doesn't really apply right now. You're gonna call an audible and pick a different book. Gotcha.
It's
like a quick change.
People do that in sports. Weird.
Yeah, how does spurts work?
Yeah, what are spurts?
I just go back to seeing your high school coach being like, "You should be playing football." You're just
and
in the
I'm
drama
like,
class.
I will be the next Olivier.
You're draping yourself, and the curtains be like, "Look, I'm the Phantom."
To be or not to be, Mr. Richter.
Come on, kid, hit one pad.
For the love of God, you're bigger than everyone here. We would win the state championship. You know what? Maybe if I tap into my feminine energy, I can really get into this role.
You're wearing all black spandex, doing twirls around
doing
the
interpretive
dance room.
Yeah. You are killing me and my soul.
He breaks the clipboard and just like, I quit. If I can't make this get into a football star, I don't know what I'm doing.
So, okay, you're going to call an audible. Cool.
I'm going to call an audible because, Vampires versus the Bronx, I'll give my quick critique, because I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. But we moved on Saturday, and it was a lot of work. And during the move, I opened a chest that had some really old edibles in it. So old, they're like 2 years old. And they're gummy edibles. They're gummies. So, I'm like, we're hanging out, we're going to watch the movie. And I eat one. I'm like, well, it's old. It's just a gummy. I want a little something sweet. And sure enough, I fell asleep. I passed out for the ending. I went from like thoroughly enjoying it, The Kid Mero is amazing in it. But I passed out. I passed out. So let me call an audible. I'm gonna call in my girlfriend, Karen, because she's not only a great comedian and she'll have a great take on this movie, but she's born and raised from the Bronx. So
so she's got inside experience.
Oh yeah, does she ever? So if you don't mind, hey babe.
Hey babe.
Hey babe.
Hey babe.
Hey, can you come over here and talk about Vampires versus the Bronx?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Wait, can you pee first?
Yeah, go pee.
Okay.
She's gonna go pee.
Don't
And
put
then
in the podcast.
it's too late. We're recording. This is live. I can't
Yeah.
take it back now.
There's nothing you can do. We are here.
Well, I guess while she is getting ready, would you like to talk about the movie?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were recommended this by one of my friends from last week, Jeff Stewart. He was the one who said that we should give this a try, especially for spooky season.
Ooh.
Spooky season. And I have to say, there's a bunch about this that I really liked. I think that all the characters were wonderful. The setting felt really believable. Like, it obviously didn't feel like forced or like, oh yeah, let's play up the fact that we're from the Bronx by having these awful stereotypes be like the thing. You can tell that it was written by somebody who had a great love for the Bronx and actively wanted to see it portrayed in its best light. And that's
Very
really
much.
fucking cool to see.
Yes.
It's always also cool to have, sadly, a lot of the, Stranger Thing-esque things are white kids, right? Like,
Right.
For the most part, it's cool to see like a band of, black kids, kind of black, and I guess they're Puerto Rican as well. One of the main characters is Puerto Rican Dominican, grouped together and showcase that their version of that story is very cool. And once again, it doesn't feel cheesy or forced. It feels very authentic and nice.
Yes.
I would say my biggest gripe with the movie, though, and this is true about Monster Squad as well, is that the enemies don't have any weight.
Yeah,
like
they're
if
just
we
kind
were
of
really
there.
serious,
Through the
yeah,
obstacle.
if we were really serious about vampires, would kill them instantaneously, and that's the big problem with these films, right? It's like trying to find a good line between them being the kids being powerful enough to take on these creatures, and these creatures not being so fucking powerful that they wouldn't just decimate them in a second.
Right. And then what makes kind of Casper work? It's like the ghosts want to keep him alive to mess with them, to have fun. Like that is why Bill Pullman can survive or something. That's why Christina Ricci can be in the house. It's because they have eternal life. They're bored, so they want to have some fun with some living people.
They're malicious, but they're not deadly. They're just fucking with you.
Yep.
But with these, like in Vampires vs. Bronx, obviously it's like the stakes are they're killing people, and obviously there's the big thing about it's they're white and they're taking over the neighborhood.
Yes.
And it's all this gentrification stuff, and it's like I get it. And that is an interesting way to run that story, right? Like if you're going to do a genre story about gentrification, why not make it a monster movie, right? Like it's kind of
Big
monstrous to have your neighborhood taken over. I think that's a cool idea. But once again, it's just like the vampires in Vampires versus the Bronx have like, not to be a pun, have no teeth. Like they're so easily taken down in
it's
every
a long-haired
scene.
guy just staring at them awkwardly until he decides to face change and bite someone.
Yeah, it's like, all right, you gonna you just said there is a scene exactly like that where you're like, okay, shit's about to go down. It's like, no, there's just a dude staring. All right, cool. Finally killed someone.
Oh, okay. 10 minutes later. Oh, and then you bit. Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Well, everyone, I'm going to take a step away to allow my girlfriend to speak on it. Everyone, Karen Sepulveda.
Woo!
You too. Yes, please.
Oh no, something happened with your camera.
It's okay.
Welcome to Pop Culture Party, people, Karen. Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you for the first time digitally.
Yeah, seriously. I just watch you on your YouTube channel. On you guys' YouTube channel together.
Thank you for doing that. So, I hear that you had the distinct pleasure of watching Vampires versus the Bronx with Warren. And he said that you grew up in the Bronx, you know the Bronx by heart, and as someone who isn't that familiar with the Bronx, I would love to hear your take on how you thought the film was.
It was very interesting. Wait, are you going to be in this too?
I said my part, so now it's.
Oh, okay.
I brought you in because I told him I fell asleep during it.
Oh, okay.
He has no more dialogue in this.
Yeah, right. I guess I was okay, initial thoughts. Like first, like looking at the first couple of scenes in the movie, I was like, okay, they're using very specific areas in the Bronx, middle of the Bronx, that you wouldn't really know unless you grew up in the Bronx. Like, it's not like the traditional Yankee Stadium or like, what have you. So
I don't know. I know the Bronx very little. Didn't go up there very often when I lived in New York.
Yeah. It's I mean, there's a lot of different areas, but where they were like middle west, kind of close to Yankee Stadium. There was a scene where they were near Yankee Stadium, but I would say the middle of the Bronx is a very interesting place. It's like a lot of folks who live there are not like leaving. Like, it's just like, I work in this area, I live in this area, my whole family lives in this area, I know everyone, grew up with people who live in this area. So it's kind of like that.
So it's very like community oriented. I knew a lot of people like that in Florida. People were like, my family's been here for years and we're not leaving. And you're like, okay, there's other parts of the country. And they're like, we don't care.
Right, exactly. They're just like, they know what they know and they don't want anything else. But that's kind of how that is. That's why it was kind of fun to see that portrayed in the film. I will say though, some of the dialect was not there. It wasn't there for me. I wasn't represented. I feel like it's tough because the lead actor who plays Miguel Martinez, he's from New York, but when they put on the Wikipedia profile, born in New York, it's like Manhattan. It's not. If you were from the Bronx or Brooklyn or Queens, it would have said it. You know what I mean? It would have said it on your wiki profile.
So you feel like he wasn't repping the Bronx cred correct for the film. You would have liked them to go into the Bronx, find somebody, or at least have him get the accent correct.
Yeah, because I think he was supposed to be playing a little like a Dominican kid, and it was not it. It was not, the accent was not there. I'm sorry, it wasn't. The first 5 seconds of the film, he says, "Hola," and I just was like,
"Hola, mi amigo. It's me."
I was just like, you're not Dominican. I don't see it in the face and I don't hear it in the accent. And it's just, and that's fine. You don't have to play a Dominican character. He could have just played a mixed race black kid, mixed race, half black, half white kid growing up in the Bronx. We got those too, they there, and that would have been like kind of like the trifecta. Sorry. Cause we have the black best friend. We have the Latino nerdy best friend. He could just be that mesh in the middle, but they wanted to make him Dominican. It wasn't there. It wasn't.
Didn't live up to your expectations.
Not even mine. I think the entire community, because we're very prideful. So we're like,
well, what do you think they got right about, like, once again, you sound like you're an authority in the area and stuff like that. What about the film did you like?
I loved the film, actually. I really loved it. I think there were some things like that took me out of it, or some parts where I was just like, you wouldn't have said that. Like, if you were from the Bronx, you wouldn't have said that. like you wouldn't have been so like polite or something to like these types of people or whatever. Marrow from Desus and Marrow, I thought was great.
Yeah,
Like,
he's probably my favorite part of the movie. I think
Yeah.
as a shopkeeper and like the kind of the heart of the film, right? He's the dude who you don't want to see die. Spoilers.
yeah, right. And he's so good and he's so natural. He is that's the essence of the Bronx right there in Marrow. That's the essence. His whole cadence, like the dialect, because he is Dominican as well, so he had the dialect down packed. He had the cadence of like the accent, the Bronx accent mixed with the Spanish accent, also being Dominican, because it's different if you're Puerto Rican, it's different if you're Mexican, it's different, all those things come to play. So that was really nice to see. Miguel Martinez's mom in the film too is Dominican, and she was like a lovely portrayal of a Dominican mother, a young Dominican, like New Yorkin.
Yes, the very distinct Dominican.
Right. I'm trying to make up my own. Dominican. She was great. I really liked her, and I loved that girl who was like blogging. She was not at all New York, but it was just nice to see her kind of like.
No, she had good attitude. She was a good character in the film. She had a lot of like personality, which was nice.
She was like the choir. She's like the commentary in a Shakespearean choir. She's like the person on the side who's like, she's viewing it, reiterating what just happened, and doing a quick, funny commentary to it, which I really appreciate because I love meta moments like that. But yeah,
What's your take on the vampires?
So the thing with the vampires is like, I mean, yes, all white people are blood-sucking leeches who are just trying to take over culture and are making their creeping their way up the Bronx like crabs,
No, I mean, as a white person, I can say we are the worst, but we're here to stay, guys. It's a tough road, but
it is
we're going to be here
road for a while.
I mean, until you kill us all in that eventual uprising.
Until
then.
But yeah, so that they weren't scary to me in that sense. I thought the metaphor was a pretty not spot on metaphor, but I think it was an appropriate metaphor in this like post Jordan Peele like Get Out horror movie era for the culture for Black people kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't think it hits you over the head with it. Like, it's a good metaphor. It's definitely something that's happening in New York, and and for once again subverting a genre, white encroachment on space is a thing. It's a real problem. So to turn that into a horror movie is a good idea. Now, the way I personally don't think they executed it well because the vampires aren't scary enough. They're just,
I just didn't think it was realistic that people from the Bronx, if somebody is coming at you like that, you wouldn't just react like that. Come on now. It's not a realistic reaction. Either you book it or you get to popping, you get to scrapping, you can't just stand there. There was just so much standing there and like staring at each other. and Warren knows I hate suspense. I love comedy because it's predictable. I hate suspense. I just don't have patience for it. It's not, I am an anxious person and I get scared, yes, but it's more so that I'm just like, get over with it. Come on, like, come out of the closet, like, stab somebody. Just get it over with.
I didn't find this film suspenseful. There's a lot of takes where it's just them looking at stuff, and that's just boring. That's not good filmmaking.
But that was their like kind of building of suspense, which I was just like, I could have done without that, Agreed. We don't need to have you just standing there and staring at each other Like, make out already, you know?
That's right, 12-year-olds. Just make out. Just get to it.
Yo, there was one part that I loved is when Mero realizes that the woman is a vampire.
That is a good scene. Yeah, when she's
That's
holding the
a great
hummus.
scene. That I think is an accurate, like, I mean, I think the suspense played and the tension played off very well in that scene.
Well, yeah, I agree. I think that scene works really well because, one, obviously the kids aren't being taken seriously, right? But Mero is such a good dude that he wants to support the kids, and he'll listen to them and he'll joke around with them. But when it finally becomes real, I actually do think his performance when he realizes it is pretty great. I think he does a great job.
I agree, yeah. And you like him. You immediately has so much charisma on screen. He's so likable and relatable that you like want to vouch for him. You don't want to see him die. So it like that scene is so much more impactful, I think, because of that. Yeah. And then when he finds out and he's like, "Yo, Shorty is a vampire." It's my favorite. That's what I'm talking. That's the real Bronx reaction right there.
So would you recommend Vampires versus the Bronx to everyone, or is it a pass for you?
I'd recommend it to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Warren, what did you say?
But Chris Red, the two guys that hung out.
Chris Red and that other guy. Chris Red is not from New York,
He's
right?
Chicago.
Yeah, I mean they had definitely that hood cadence, that hood feel to them, but not really, but kind of. I mean, I believe it. I don't believe they're from the Bronx, maybe Brooklyn, but I believe it. It was nice to see their banter. They had a good rapport.
Yeah, I liked when they stole the
guys.
chairs.
Yeah.
But we do have a recommendation from somebody who grew up in the Bronx, lived in the Bronx, knows the Bronx much better than I do, that you would recommend Vampires versus the Bronx for our listeners?
Yes, I will. I mean, I do. I definitely do recommend. And if you want, like, some more real ass Bronx, like, just watch anything with, what's her name? What's her name from Rent?
Rosario Dawson?
Rosario Dawson. Or, I mean, Rosie Perez is not from the Bronx, I don't think, but she has that New York accent down packed. So if you're missing the New York essence that wasn't in this film from the kids, if
you need that flavor, just do the right thing on. Let Rosie dance fight into this film.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It was so great to meet you personally and for us to talk about this. If you could transition back to Warren, I would be much appreciative. But thank you so much for coming on to PCPP. And fuck, come on again. You're living together now. It should be pretty easy for you to get on the show.
I know, right? Yeah, I'll be back. Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being here, man.
Bye.
Bye.
And here we have...
Thank you. Hey, what'd you guys talk about?
Did you take another pot brownie or pot gummy and you just fell asleep while we were talking?
Yeah. It's like when you leave your phone with your girlfriend and be like, "Oh, they'll get to know each other."
It'll be fine. Do you remember that time we had sex with that hooker together?
Yeah. Is that what you talked about? On the podcast, last? Oh, God.
Oh, shit, dude.
Explain this. It was a joke, okay?
I swear it's not true, most of it.
Yeah, so with the headphones on, I couldn't hear anything, so I just kind of played producer on the side. Like, hey, mention this. Hey, mention that.
You're not talking about it. I need you to talk about it. Thank you.
Keep it going. We have more time to kill.
Yeah, we're rolling.
Stretch. I have nothing to add. Stretch.
Yeah, come on. I hired you for this specific role because you're from the Bronx. Fucking do it.
I booked you in this apartment for the next year. You need to talk about the Bronx.
I'm glad you guys it looked like you guys had a great time. Looked like I almost lost my job, actually.
Never, Warren. Never.
Aww.
You're the only one for me.
Yes.
Our
Well,
banter is just too good.
yes. Can't compete with that. So we were given a suggestion by Dale Zarb, our last guest,
Yes, we were.
and I'm not sure where to begin to talking about it, which is why I'm stammering and stalling right now. That was a show that our friend told us to watch.
Well, it's weird. It's weird to transition from Vampires versus the Bronx into Dragon Ball fan fiction, essentially. Yeah. There's no there's no universal transition for those two things, Warren. So it's okay that you had a hard time. There's no easy way to do it.
Yeah, because Dale, the three of us are huge Dragon Ball Z fans. We played this Dragon Ball Fighters video game,
It's a huge thing in our childhoods.
A huge thing in our childhood. Our communications are through Dragon Ball Z gifts. Our gifts to each other are Dragon Ball Z pins.
Yeah, we have a lot of us is Dragon Ball Z. It's just
With that being said, Dale knew that we were going to hopefully really enjoy this YouTube series called Dragon Ball Deliverance, which is the sequel to Dragon Ball GT. So if I already lost you at this point, I completely understand, because this is a very niche market.
I was about to say, if this is not something that you even know what it is, we will understand why you stopped listening here. On the other hand,
if you're still here,
want to learn more about a very niche, exceedingly limited audience thing, stick around, because we're about to talk about it right now.
Because it's pretty interesting. What this group of illustrators did is they continued the story of Dragon Ball GT, which essentially the lead character, Goku. I should stop. I'm talking to people who already know about Dragon Ball Z. They care about it. So the story takes place after Goku leaves with Shenron to a different plane.
Completely suddenly they're his kids once again.
Yes, to fight whatever he wants to fight. And then a new evil comes out in the world, and someone reaches out to them for help. They come to Earth looking for Goku, and they then find Vegeta and Gohan and everyone else instead. So that's the beginning of this YouTube fanfiction series. Story aside, voice acting aside, the animation is fantastic. This is a really, really detailed and artistic choice. There are parts where it really looks off, but the combat really hits hard. You really feel it. It feels more vicious, and it's a really intense continuation.
Absolutely. So I think one of the best things about a community is, fans can be bad sometimes, but 9 times out of 10, fans of something will go above and beyond, not only to show their love for something, but to actively create things within the context of the thing that they love, and sometimes elevate it. And I have to say that this does that, and I'm really happy to say that this does that. You can clearly tell how much these guys love Dragon Ball Z. Like, the sheer fact that they had to animate all this stuff for the first episode, it's just that one dude, I think. Like,
that's incredible.
Yeah, like the dedication and skill that it takes for him to do that by himself is like
truly.
Yeah,
round of applause.
Good
on you.
Animation, like the way it looks, obviously is a touch amateurish because it's one fucking dude. So that's not a mark against it. Some of the voice acting is a little not amazing. Once again, it's a fan-made project. Like one of the, I admit the first episode isn't nearly as good, but I do have to say I watched all 3 that are currently out, and it gets better every single one. Like,
no question.
You can see how they're growing. You can see how they're making the story be what they want it to be, but getting better animation, getting better voice talent, getting more in depth with like their transitions and fight scenes and stuff like that. It's really
and being
fucking
fans,
impressive.
They take the best parts of the show that you want to see repeated instead of following the terrible setups they would eventually do in the show. Like what eventually became is just like one-on-one battles and you get stronger and hopefully you win. But what I always loved about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were the group fights. Was like 5 against 1, or like them trying to stop an impossible enemy. Was the Z Fighters versus Nappa, or Krillin, Gohan, Piccolo, and Vegeta versus Frieza. Like those were my favorite fights.
Yeah.
And then this then recreates it all over again, seeing two people versus an overpowered enemy. It was really fun, and they took chances. Like you actually get to see people get injured and possibly die. But the voice acting, the first episode, the guy in the cloak, I kept thinking in my head, this is Tommy Wiseau. This is Tommy. This is his gig after The Room. He's like, I'm done with these. I'm going to go into voice acting.
I love Dragon Ball. How can I do this? Let me spend a couple of years. Let me animate it. I'm getting getting Schwarzenegger here. I'm sorry.
The accent's so hard. Hi, Mark. Hi, Gohan. Can you come with me to Namek?
Oh, hi, Gohan.
Oh, Vegeta, you think you're the strongest? Okay.
Yeah, no, like a Eastern European is a weird accent for a Dragon Ball character.
Yeah. Like, what is happening? Glad for the diversity, but here now? What?
Yeah. I don't know if Dragon Ball's ready for a Russian.
Yeah. And they did it with the Red Ribbon Army, and they're all gone, so there's no need for this.
Yeah, but even he didn't have a Russian accent.
No, he didn't.
That guy was very American. General Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right. He just sound like a guy from Palo Alto.
Yeah. Totally, bro. Let's go hit these waves. I'm gonna kill you, Goku.
Oh, sick. Kamehameha? I like waves too, bro.
Do you know that was once an old Hawaiian king, bro?
Hey, hang 10, Goku. That's sick. You're on a cloud.
That's totally cool, bro. I've got a ton of stock in Uber.
Hear me out. People will use their cars to pick you up. Dudes.
But I want to thank Dale for recommending this. I don't know if I would have found this on my own, because this is buried kind of deep in YouTube. Like, I think you would have to go down
deep YouTube rabbit hole.
Yeah, deep YouTube rabbit hole to find this. But like I said, each episode steadily gets better, and episode 3, which is about 40 minutes long, which once again, fucking hats off to you, dude. That is fucking impressive. I mean, it's fucking Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 3 Broly, and it's amazing. It's so good.
I think what blew me away more was Majub. Like, way to create a character.
My favorite.
Like, where did he go? I want that character now. Like, to have him fight against himself, literally, and then have it like that, the entity hanging off of you, but when you power up, it's like this swirling monster around you. It was just gorgeous. It was so fun.
That is, once again, sometimes fan fiction turns into something that should be canonical. Like, that is something that should exist. I feel the same way because obviously GT is technically not canonical anymore.
Right.
Super Saiyan 4 is the coolest goddamn form, and it needs to come back. Like, it needs to come back hard. And same thing with Majub. Like, after seeing him in this, I'm like, oh my god, this character has so much fucking potential.
Yeah. And he is canonical. He's at the very last episode of Dragon Ball Z, so he's still in the universe. They just haven't brought him back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but Majub is canonical, but Super Saiyan 4 sadly isn't.
No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Do you want to take a moment and talk about it? Yeah,
let's bow our heads for Super Saiyan 4, Goku, and Vegeta.
Hey, thank you for all your time and your hard work of going from a great ape to Super Saiyan 4. Thank you for your sacrifice.
You will be missed.
Big Bang. Attack.
But yeah, dude, I really enjoyed it. Once again, it was one of those things where, the week's been rough. This was something to lose yourself in and kind of feel like a kid again. And so thank you, Dale Zarb. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to watching more of it. I'm looking forward to seeing because he's, over time, because everybody loved it so much, he's gotten more people into the studio, and there's more people helping now, and you can clearly see it. So seriously, hats off to that guy. Can't wait to see what you
keep
do
it
next.
up.
Yeah, we loved it. It was awesome. And speaking of what's awesome, we've already done an hour and 5 minutes. Can you fucking believe that?
I can't. It was such a fun episode. I feel like I wasn't here for part of it. I don't know. Did I fall asleep? What happened?
I don't think so.
Oh, Well, what a fun episode.
It's all right.
I'm
We
so
all have
glad that.
memory gaps. It's cool.
Yeah, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
I forgot the month of March. Is that normal? Anywho,
I don't know if you're supposed to go whole months, but
let's ask Well Actually Guy. Well,
actually,
actually,
yeah. Well, actually, Guy, is it normal for people to lose large chunks of time?
it depends on your job, so to speak. Like, let's say you're a fighter pilot, you're losing a lot of blood to your head, so possibly you might black out from time to time. So, well, actually, it's possible.
Thank you, Well, actually, Guy. Very informative as always.
Yet very vague.
Yeah, you didn't really answer the question so much as made me more afraid. So thank
Well,
you for that.
actually, I gave you the
Actually,
tools
you're all gonna
to
die. Oh,
Oh, that's the dark Well Actually Guy.
yeah. Dark universe. Well, actually, Guy. Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, what is your suggestion for me next episode?
Well, I think for you, I was reading a very interesting article this week about what is the scariest film ever made. So
Oh my
what?
God.
So
Okay.
what they did. So what they did was they hooked up.
What an opening. What I'm suggesting to you is the scariest film ever created.
Well, let me
I'm
let's
listening.
go on. Hold on. I haven't finished the thought yet.
Okay.
So the experiment was they hooked up I think it was 1,000 people to a heart monitor, and then
Okay.
they took IMDb's top 100 scariest films, and they saw which film elicited the most heart response out of people.
Okay. All right.
And the film that came in number one is a film that I actually really love, and I think is actually a really good horror movie, and it's called Sinister.
Okay. Sinister. All right.
It's got Ethan Hawke in it. It came out a couple of years
Ooh.
ago. It's by Blumhouse. It's a really small movie. I think they made it for like close to $3 or $4 million. So it's not this crazy over the top spectacle of a movie. It's very contained, but it's very creepy. And it was one of the ones I was planning on recommending to you for this month anyway. And
Great.
I think it's a perfect time to do it because it's actually, in my opinion, a great film. And I'm interested to see how scared you are of it after watching it.
Great. You know what's actually what would be scarier in that test is like whatever movie had no heart rate is truly the scariest movie.
That's
What
the
movie-
real winner.
Yeah, what movie killed people? Well, to keep in line with the kind of spooky season tone, I'm suggesting to you an anime called Jujutsu Kaisen. It just came out. It's only 3 episodes deep. It has a decently long-running manga. Essentially, it's a school for demon slayers, and it's very kind of gothic and very spooky. And I think you're really going to enjoy it.
I've heard. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard chatter because this is supposed to be. I was reading another article recently. This is supposed to be like the next big shonen anime.
Yes, it takes all the great parts of shonen and gives you what you want, but has a very original look and feel to it.
Okay, well that sounds perfect. I've been meaning to watch it anyway, so yeah, that lines up perfectly. So I've got my suggestion. You've got yours. What should we do for? Yeah, but is it good?
Is it good? I think it's. I don't know. Actually, I didn't come prepared for one. I'm sorry, but if you have one, please.
Well, I don't know if it technically falls in the yeah, but is it good? Because I know I love this movie. Maybe it's more of a suggestion film.
But do you? But do
But
you?
well, I'm fairly positive that I do. But you know what? Maybe we should revisit it. I don't know if you. This is a film that whenever I bring it up, nobody seems to know what it is. So this might be one just for us to bond over because it's
Aw.
spooky season, and it's a film that it is a film that I deeply love from my childhood.
Okay.
It's called The Halloween Tree, and it's based off a book by Ray Bradbury.
Okay.
And I think it's one of my favorite pieces of like Halloween anything. I love this movie. But you know what? I haven't seen it in a while. And
Okay.
I know for sure that you probably haven't seen it. It's a relatively
No.
obscure film, a relatively obscure cartoon from the 90s.
Let me tell you what I think of when I hear this. I think of like how I read The Giving Tree growing up. You read The Halloween Tree, which caused a splinter in our personalities.
It's a beautiful metaphor.
Thank you.
So yeah, I think we'll revisit the Halloween tree for next episode. I don't know where you're gonna find it. I have it on DVD, so maybe I can stream it to you, and we can
Do this
watch
for
it.
me. Take your camera and record yourself watching it over your shoulder, and that's how I'll watch it.
Brilliant.
I'll find it.
So
It's on
for
YouTube,
next
I found
episode,
it.
we have the Halloween tree, we've got Sinister, and we've got Jujutsu Kaisen.
Kaizen. Yeah,
Kaizen.
perfect.
Perfect. All right. Well, that is it for this episode of Pop Culture Party People. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much for the support we've been seeing on the podcast. It really does mean the world to us. Warren, do you have anything that you'd like to plug before we get out of here?
I'd like to plug that Karen and I are on a sketch team called Give the Baby a Knife. You can find our videos on Twitch, or you can find us on YouTube. Please check us out, and check me out on YouTube. Check out Karen's channel through Something New with Karen or the Karen Sep. That's it.
Awesome. You can find me at Unlimited Free Time on YouTube. I'm not currently doing any videos right now because I'm working on a film, but I've got over 35 videos on the channel, so please check those out. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at AllTheBirds, and you can find this very podcast at the PCPP podcast on Instagram and Twitter. Well, that's it for this episode. Remember,
Thanks so much.
We're the Pop Culture Party People. We put the cult
In pop culture.
We love
Bye.
you. Bye.